yeah, I mean, she like called me a couple days after I got the part, and we just had an incredible heart-to-heart.
Welcome to the red couch.
Thank you.
I can't help but just obsess over the Canadian tuxedo that's happening right here, and also just the pins.
Yeah.
You know, everywhere.
Representing, you know.
Yeah. Which is your favorite one?
Robert Downey Jr.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh, a young Robert Downey Jr. as well.
Yeah. Iron Man 2.
I like it. I like it. Okay, look, we're not here to talk about all those other amazing people. We're here to talk about you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be 1 week away from this being shared out into the world?
It literally feels like we shot the show yesterday, and now it's a public thing. Like, it's so surreal, and I've used that word to the point where it's lost all meaning, but that's the only way I could describe it.
I mean, keep using it. Soak it up, because this is also a massive press tour, and we're so excited that you're coming to hang out with all the Canadians as well.
It's so great to be back home, and you know, it just feels comfortable here.
Okay, tell me, I hear that you just fell in love with Miss Marvel in high school, reading the comic books. What is it about Miss Marvel?
I mean, I grew up like loving the MCU, obviously, and then my high school is across from a comic book store, and I have the fattest crush on Iron Man, and I wanted more Iron Man, and I only ever read Invincible Iron Man, and then I ran into Iron Heart, and Kamala was on the cover of that one, and I was like, oh my God, who's this brown person? And I was actually surprised to fall in love with her. I didn't expect it. I didn't have many female superheroes I looked up to, and the fact that this comic book was holding up a mirror in front of me was just absolutely nuts. You know, she was Pakistani, and she was Muslim, and a superhero fanatic. I was a Pakistani Muslim superhero fanatic. Like, that's just insane. And you know, the way fan culture is displayed in those comics was so real, and that fascination with the Avengers is so shared with real life Marvel fans. I think, you know, Kamala not only, you know, spoke to me on such a cellular level in terms of like representation, but as a fan, I just, you know, felt represented in that way too.
So you saw yourself in this incredible character, but did you ever see yourself being in the MCU? Like, that's seeing yourself in a comic book and then basically bringing that character to life.
I know, the closest I got to it was when I dressed up as her on Halloween and when I was 15, but that was about it. And my grandma helped me sew that costume, and now I have like this beautiful tailored one for me, and it's surreal.
What was that feeling like when you put on the costume for the first time? Not the one your grandma made you, which I'm sure was stunning and beautiful, but when you kind of got to experience that full circle moment of putting it on for the first time on set.
I couldn't stop staring at myself. Like, it's just in a way of like, I was trying to make myself believe it, but I have like, not even imposter syndrome. It's just so hard to like, be like, yeah, you're here. Markham to Marvel. That's my slogan. Yeah, I've been using that everywhere.
I feel like we need to key that.
Just
Markham to Marvel.
Yeah, title of my book. No, but it was weird, and there were so many people who wanted to be in the room when we were trying on the costume for the first time, because everyone was so giddy and excited, and I just had a million people just like staring at me, and I was staring at me, and then I was like, I have to go to the bathroom, and now I need help.
And this is why it's so important to stay humble and have humility, right? Because sometimes you need people to take off the really awesome superhero costume so that you can go tingle.
Yeah.
Yeah. This series feels really fresh, really young, very like Scott Pilgrim-y. Like, what are we going to see in this story?
Yeah, I mean, I think it has such a universal charm with the way we've displayed fan culture and religion and coming of age and action. You know, I really think we have a very wide audience, and the show's going to hit home for a lot of people, and I hope fans can kind of expect to see a lot of themselves displayed in Kamala, and are encouraged and motivated to keep making fan art and stitching cosplays and, you know, Reddit forums, because Marvel is their fans, and I think we've really appreciated that whole side of it. And then on top of that, we're introducing an entirely new diaspora of fans to the MCU. You know, we're 34 projects in, and so it's really hard to kind of become a MCU fan. It's quite intimidating. So I think this is going to be an accessible entry point for some people, and so I'm excited for that. Yeah.
And Kamala's got so much going on, like not only fighting crime, which, you know, is basically a full-time job, but also dealing with high school and boys and religion and culture. That's a full-fledged human being, which is kind of awesome. How much of her story did you see yourself in?
All of it. minus the crime fighting. But no, it's crazy. The parallels are insane. You know, Kamala getting her powers and me getting this part really go hand in hand, and so we were very much on this journey of self-discovery together, and you know, they really just encouraged me to put as much of myself into this character and make her as like real of a person as possible and as specific as possible, because honestly, specificity is representation. You know, creating a genuine character, a real character that you can feel and you can relate to on such a deep level is really important, and I think we got that.
And I feel like you definitely brought just the right amount of awkwardness. I was a very awkward teenager, and we don't see enough like amazing people that happen to also be a little bit awkward, and I think being awkward is beautiful.
Yeah.
I just met you, and I'm already such a big fan, and I'm also such a big fan of Brie. And the first time I interviewed Brie, similar feeling to this, where I was just like, wow, you are such a kind, warm person who's just so excited to be on this adventure. Brie may or may not have had her poster above your bed, I hear.
She does, yeah. I have this Captain Marvel poster that I totally stole from set, I realize. But yeah, it's weird. I go to bed and she looks down on me. And I have all the other Avengers hanging up on my wall, and now it's weird because I have a lot of their phone numbers, and it's a relationship now, and the same people I look up to, they're now like my peers, essentially. Yeah.
I mean, yes to all of it.
Slay.
Now, Brie is Captain Marvel, phenomenal. Did you pass on any advice?
Yeah, I mean, she like called me a couple days after I got the part, and we just had an incredible heart-to-heart, and she just, you know, this world has changed her life so much, and Marvel just brings an incredible amount of attention to anybody joining the universe, and so that's quite intimidating, especially for a person who has zero attention, and now I'm getting all of it, and it's super overwhelming, but it's kind of nice to have people like her in my corner who've experienced that on such a grand scale and passing down their wisdom. It doesn't get easier or, you know, more real. Yeah.
At least you have someone you can lean on, which is nice. What was the biggest takeaway from speaking with her? Like, did she pass on a nugget of wisdom that you're holding on to?
She was like, it always feels like it's happening to someone else, and just hearing her say that kind of gave me peace of mind. Not, you know, I'm never going to come to terms with the fact that my face is on billboards, but it is nice to know that the experience is shared, and you know, what I'm feeling isn't unnatural.
No, all the feelings all the time. It's totally cool. Everything's fine. We're totally fine. Lastly, we spoke about this a little bit earlier, but you know, this is huge.
Yeah.
Kamala is the first Muslim Marvel superhero, which is so great. And I know you felt really seen when you picked up those comic books for the first time. How do you hope people feel when they watch this series?
God, I just hope they feel, you know, a little bit seen, like the way I was when I picked up those comics for the first time. You know, this character is so real, and accurate representation is long overdue. Not to say that we can represent every single Muslim and South Asian person in the world, but this is definitely a start, and a good start. I'm really proud of the show, and I think right down to the music, we've really hit the mark in telling Kamala's story, and hopefully this kind of inspires, you know, more South Asian and Muslim creators to tell their story, because it's important work.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you for being you. Soak it all up. Continue soaking up the surrealism.
Yes.
And I appreciate the Canadian tuxedo so much.
Thanks for watching Etalk. Make sure you hit subscribe for more celebrity interviews and entertainment news. And while you're here, why not watch another video? I know you want to.